I think it's a good question, though, because
it is
I think
a very good question.
that's in the back of a lot of Blues fans' minds that when are they going to get full ownership? Because they must think, well, Knighthead are investing all this money. What are BSHL doing? They still own the majority of the club. So what are they actually doing? But again, you know for a fact that Knighthead are going to have had this nailed right down. So welcome back to Small Little Alliance FC, and there's no doubt that there's always something to talk about at Birmingham City. And a few days ago I put a post on our YouTube community page and asked fans or subscribers, viewers of the channel to give their questions and see is there anything that you'd like me and Matt to talk about. And we had some fantastic questions, so thank you for all the responses. Now in this video we've selected 6 questions that we want to try and give our opinions and answers to, but there are more, so thank you to anybody who has given questions. So if your question is not in this batch, we may do a second podcast later in the week or next week to answer some of the other questions. So Matt, the questions that we've been asked, did you see the range of questions that we got? Quite interesting, weren't they?
Yeah, I did. And again, just to reiterate what Dad said, thank you very much everyone for not only giving us questions but always engaging with the channel. You know, we have quite a loyal support base at the moment, don't we? We get regular comments from regular people, regular thumbs up, and I felt like this isn't giving me and you a compliment, but we've created a nice little community of Blues fans who really engage with each other. We're a friendly, family-based podcast who allow no swearing in the comments, and that's really nice. You know, people watch our videos with their kids. So just an appreciation, really, to everyone out there who engages with the channel. Me and Dad do really appreciate it. And I did see the questions. Some of them are funny, some of them are quite serious, and there's a good range in there for us to sort of discuss in this video. Okay,
so let's get on to the first question. Okay, so the first question, and we'll give the handles of the people, because some people didn't leave their names, so we have to give you handles. And the first one is from MZA King, and the question was, which one of our youngsters will come through this season and how long will we keep him? I.e., are we still a selling club? Surely we are. And Donovan for me. Love the show, guys. Keep up the good work and thank you. So who do you think might be a youngster that might break through this season?
I have to agree with the comment. I think Ramel Donovan is going to be an absolute animal at this level. Well, he has the potential to be. Let's see whether Chris Davis decides to give him some minutes. I hope he does. And, you know, I'm not going to give Rooney any or many compliments at all, but one of the things I was impressed was that he did see something in Ramel Donovan and he had the courage to give him a little bit of game time. And he wasn't quite physically there, was he, when he played those first team games around Christmas time under Rooney, but we saw a player in there, quality player. He scored some absolutely screamers for the youth teams and an England international now at the youth level. So really prospect for the future. And interesting, his comment, he said, are we a selling club? Surely we are. And we do seem to have that pattern of selling our young talent. Actually, I'd like to see that reversed moving forward. I don't think we should sell our young talent as quickly as we possibly do. I think we should hold on to them for a little bit longer. We should nurture them a little bit more. And this isn't me saying we should, you know, rinse the bank here, but we should be getting more money for our youngsters because, you know, look at Bellingham, you know, we've got some Ramel Donovan now, Jordan James. We've produced some really good talent at this academy and this youth team. So, Ramel Donovan's the one to watch for me. I also think George Hall, Alfie Chang and Dixon could be ones to watch as well.
Yeah, okay. Just to quickly answer that question, I don't think we are a selling club anymore because I look at the way that the club now have offered all these young players these professional contracts. They're trying to protect the club now, so I don't think we'll be selling the way we used to. Obviously, if we get good offers and you know they're worth value to the club, then we will. For me, the player that I believe will break through this season, it's going to seem strange, is going to be George Hall.
Yeah,
I was really surprised when he seems like he's been around for ages, but he's only he's 20 in a few weeks.
What a player.
And I think he could have a real impact. He's been dogged by injuries last year, but for me, I think some of those players you mentioned will be sent out on loan to get some first team experience. But if I had to answer that question, which one player is going to have a breakthrough season at Birmingham City in terms of a consistent running team, for me it's going to be George Hall.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
And I just want to point out as well, you know, if Dixon and George Hall and Ramel Donovan aren't getting the minutes on the pitch, it's still really important for them to be in the first team. So match day experience, training with the first team before the game starts, being around the stadiums, being around the team. So let's just say they're not playing loads of minutes. Even if they're in the squad, that's huge development at their age, being around the team and the squad and the fans and everything around the club. So yeah, that's it for me on question one. So question two, Dad, we're going to do a bit of a back and forth on this one. So we're going to exchange the questions. So Dad, you can remind me of the handle on this because I haven't got it in my notes, but short and sweet. Do you think that we will ever see Jay Jay Stansfield wearing a royal blue shirt again?
That's from Richard Pincher, who's a regular commenter on the channel. Thanks for all your comments, Richard. The short and sweet, yes. At some point, we will see Jay Stansfield back playing for Birmingham City again. In my opinion, he had a great season with us last year on loan. I think we're in League One this season. I think he'll get a lot of interest from Championship clubs if he's put out on loan. But yeah, just to make the answer short and sweet, I think he will. I'd love to see him back at Birmingham City, and I think it's nailed on that maybe next season or the season after, he'll be back at Birmingham City, and I think we'll sign him permanently.
Wow, you got your mystic ball out. I like it. I think the ship has sailed for League One. Jay Stansfield's proven he's at a higher level now, so we won't see that any time this season. But I would love to think that you're right, Dad, and we'll see maybe next season or the season after. Football's long. It's a long old season. It's a long old game. I would love to see Jay Stansfield back in a blue shirt, and I'm going to back you. Hopefully we see him in a couple of years' time.
I think so. I think he'll be in the crowd with us away at Exeter as well. So, next question is another regular contributor. In fact, the first two are both regular contributors to the channel, and also Robbie Michaels, who give us the next question. Now, Robbie asked a question about the ownership of the club, which is very, very interesting. I'll read out what he said. I understand that Paul Schwen still owns 51.7% of Birmingham City. 45.96% is owned by Tom Wagner or the Selby Group. There are three other minority shareholders, including Tom Brady, all owning 2.34%. I'll be honest and say I'm still concerned about this. My question would be, when do you feel the full ownership will be completed or should be completed? Will Tom Brady buy the remaining 51.7% shares? My feeling is that I want Birmingham Sports Holdings and a non-profit. I want Birmingham Sports Holdings gone and not a profit in any way in the future of the Blues. Keep right on. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, man?
So just as an immediate quick response to Robbie, thank you for your question. I totally agree. I think it is a slight concern that Shelby Company still only own, 45.96% of Blues. But, I do trust these owners. They're very financially astute. They're going to be very legally astute. So I have no doubt during that contract of sale, no loopholes were in there. They would have made sure BSHL's involvement was at a bare minimum, not sharing much of that investment. In fact, there was even a Bellingham clause in there that actually when the Bellingham sale went through, that actually went to Shelby Holdings and stuff. So they're very financially astute, legally astute, and I do trust them. But I agree, I would like to see Shelby take the full 100% ownership. I think that is on Wagner's vision. I think when he brought the club back in July of 2023, he said he does hopefully want to get to 100%. And in the open houses, he's reiterated that he wants to have full ownership of this club. I believe it's a Hong Kong Stock Exchange problem. They couldn't sell the company all in one go due to the regulations of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. I believe, that could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer or know the legal ins and outs of that contract. But for me, I agree, Robbie. I would like to see Shelby have the 100%. I would like to see it done as soon as possible. I think this is a really complicated sale. It's not as easy as just putting pen to paper and just transferring it all over. I think it might take a couple of years. Definitely would like to see that happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, I looked into this because obviously trying to find the detail of the deal is quite complicated. It would be because there'd be a lot that's not in the public realm and a lot that's not disclosed. I looked at the statement that Tom Wagner made when he first came to the club, and he talked about this, about the fact that how much ownership they had and etc. and they were taking control of the club, etc. But I agree with what you said, Matt, is that there's no way that with the business astuteness of Tom Wagner and Knighthead and their experience in doing this type of deals, don't forget, that they wouldn't have complete control over this deal. So I couldn't find anywhere that gave a timeline. And I did do a lot of looking in terms of research. I couldn't find anywhere, but there will be a timeline somewhere. But I've got the confidence in the way that Tom Wagner and Knighthead are running this club. They've got this nailed down. And also as well, there's no way that they're going to have already invested over £30-odd million in the club. There's no way they're going to do that and then just not have full control over it. So to answer Robbie's question, and again, thanks for this. I think that that the club at some point, maybe in the next, hopefully 18 months, 2 years maximum, will get 100. Tom Wagner and Knighthead will get 100% ownership of the club, but I don't know the exact timings because I couldn't find it anywhere.
Out of curiosity, did you hear there was the reason why the sale couldn't go through, or they couldn't do it all in one go, is because complications with how it works within the stock exchange of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange?
If Knighthead had taken the club initially at 100%, it would the BSHL as they was, and they've changed their name now. They're not called Birmingham Sports Holding. They've changed their name on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. They would have lost their listing.
Right. I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
And that's the problem. They wanted to keep their listing. I presume that it's giving them a bit of breathing space and time to adapt their business so that they can maintain the listing. They're not called Birmingham Sports Holdings on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange anymore. They've changed. So that tells you that there is a transition period going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a complicated issue, one that we don't know the full detail of. But just to answer your question, Rob, I'm sure we can have confidence that that Knighthead have got this nailed right down.
And also, when Wagner bought Birmingham City, he said in his opening interview this was a very complex transaction. So there was percentages all over, different owners, different bits, Hong Kong stock exchanges. It was a very complicated deal to get over the line. So
I think it's a good question though, because
it is
I think
a very good question.
That's in the back of a lot of Blues fans' minds that when are they going to get full ownership? Because they must think, well, Knighthead are investing all this money. What are BSHL doing? They still own the majority of the club. So what are they actually doing? But again, for a fact that Knighthead are going to have had this nailed right down.
Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in the clause that says they are entitled to 0% of future profits made under Knighthead. I really wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. We only speculate because we don't know. But anyway, we think at that point. Okay, next question then comes from Lucas Percy.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw this one to you, Dad. So my question is: hi guys, love the videos. My question is: if we don't get promoted this season, do you think we bounce back the season after?
I think yes, I do. I think in my view, we will get promoted this season. If you look at the way that the club have gone about recruitment so far, we're getting some really good. We've already got some decent players, but with what we're adding to that squad and the way in which that Chris Davis seems to want to play, I think we will get promoted. I don't think we'll get stuck in this league. I know a lot of Blues fans have basically been concerned about that. That if we don't get promoted straight away, are we going to get one of those clubs that get just sucked into League One? I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we're in a slightly different position. That we came down with 50 points, which is a lot of points to get relegated with a reasonably strong squad. Yeah, okay, fair enough. They got us relegated, but there's some decent players in there.
But under the right manager, Mowbray, Rowett, and Eustace, we were a top half championship team, and we've gone down with that team with investment in the stadium, with investment on the pitch again. So,
but
I'm with you, Dad. I think we'll bounce straight back. If we're going to just entertain the question and say if we didn't, let's just say there's a transitionary period that we didn't adapt to, or it really was more challenging than we first thought, and we didn't. I think we'd do it on the second bounce as well. But I'm not even thinking about the second bounce. I'm all about this season, and I think we'll bounce back immediately.
As fans, we're in no win position for in terms of what other fans think. Other fans think that we were big time Charlies and we're just arrogant. But we're trying to give honest opinions based upon what we see at our football club, which we know more than the other fans do. And what I see is an already decent squad that underperformed last season coming into a lower league, and the players that we've added already, Alfie May, we've just added Emil Hansen, Ryan Alsop, and Bailey Peacock Farrell, and there'll be more coming in as well. Add those to some of the decent players we got. I don't think we'll get stuck in this deal. No. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah. I agree. And in fact, I could see us going pretty much the entirety of this season with St.Andrews being a real fortress and not conceding many goals at home. I think that's going to be one of the keys to us bouncing back up. Just being brutally honest, the best teams that come down from leagues, they make their home ground a fortress, don't they? Really hard to beat at home. And there was a fan who did a video on Birmingham. He's a Barnsley fan. He's got that northern accent, and he was saying, and he was going, "Blooming heck, they're buying Alfie May. They've already got a mid-championship team coming down." He goes, "They're going to absolutely destroy the league." So I think other fans see what's going on at this club, and I agree that we will bounce. I do believe it, arrogant or not, I do think we'll bounce back this season.
Yeah, that question was from Lucas Percy. I think I might have said Lucas Perry. If I did, I apologise, but it's Lucas Percy. Okay.
Thank you very much for your question.
Next question is Chris O'Neill. This is not related to us. Our surname is O'Neill, but this is someone completely different. And this question was on X, which is an interesting question now based upon what's happening, but I'll read it anyway. And thanks for the question, Chris. It's Bakuna. Yeah. Okay, I love him. I don't subscribe to him being lazy. Quite the opposite, and his numbers show that. They also show that he's one, if not the most creative, effective players. Davis is a numbers man. Do you think we want to keep him based on his numbers?
It's a really sadly timed question, isn't it? Because the rumours are that he's going to be going to Trabzonspor, Sivspor, in Turkey, following Alex Pritchard. And it looks like we are going to be selling Bakuna. But what I do like about this question is people do accuse Bakuna of being lazy, including Dad. Let's call it what it is. Me and you have a hot and cold relationship with Bakuna, a love-hate relationship, and we have often accused him of not being willing to do the dirty side of the game. But if you look at his stats, They are quite impressive. They are actually very impressive. And it does point to someone who's willing to put the graft in. He's a creative player. One week I really love him. I think he's brilliant. And the other week I'm like, oh, my word, he's giving the ball away. He's been sloppy and lazy. But, good player. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be sold possibly this week.
Yeah, and I wanted to still raise this question because at the time of recording, by the time this goes out, he could have actually been confirmed as being sold. And that could well happen. But I agree with you. When he comes on like as a substitute, for example, who's starting, there's always a doubt in my mind. And I think if you've got a doubt in your mind when a player comes on, there's something not quite right there. Yeah. For all of the good things he's done for us, scoring goals, and some games he's been absolutely outstanding. I think he was great. Yeah. In some games I can think of that he was not unplayable. No player is, but he was really, really good. But I agree. The fact that he's leaving, I thank him for his service, but I'm not sad about it at all.
No.
I'm not sad about it at all. Because
I won't lose any sleep over it, especially with the moves we're making in the transfer market, especially how we're setting up now to be into League One. Good player. Wish him all the best. Have no hard feelings towards Juninho Bakuna. I really don't. A very talented player. We all know that. We all know we can change a game on his day. Yeah. But for me, a little bit hot and cold. And
it's just those doubts in my mind, like I say, that's always the trigger for me. If you hear a substitution or you see and something in your mind that thinks, just something. Then that's not the player that you want in your team because you think that doubt would always give you some form of vulnerableness. And I think, okay. And same for me. Best wishes to him. By all accounts, he's going to have still a decent career. He's going to join Alex Pritchard at Sivspor as well. So good luck to him. But to answer Chris's question, will he be sold? Well, yes.
Looks like he's on the way.
I think that question's been answered for us before we came on, really. Yeah.
Final question, and this brings us on to probably one of my favourites. Absolute cracker of a question. And would you rather be bald since birth or have Hannibal's haircut every day of your life?
That's a great question. That's from Jelly Babe. I love the handle as well. I must admit, there was a couple of funny questions, but I wanted to put this one in as well. Hannibal, you just when you think of Hannibal, you just think of a ball of hair, don't you?
Yeah.
If I'm going to answer that question seriously, I'd rather have his hair.
Would you? Yeah. Interesting.
Because if you got your hair in, you can cut it off. If you're bald, you got nothing.
True.
I would definitely.
But it's all about style, isn't it? And how you look and how you pull it off. You could not pull off the Hannibal haircut. I'm not going to lie, Dad.
There's a guy down the Blues. Have you seen? I don't know his name. He's a well-known Blues fan.
Yes, the away. He goes to all games.
He's got the blonde sort of afro wig.
Love it.
He's a great. I love watching him. I've seen him outside the Blues ground a few times, and there's one I think was queuing up for a coffee, and he was like with some kids like doing some dance or something like that. So he's a great character.
I think it's a bit like me and you, Dad. Him and his dad have a really nice relationship, and they go down to the Blues a lot. They go to every home game, every away game, and I always see him engaging with kids and fans and dancing and doing silly stuff. Yeah. And
but he reminds me when you think of Hannibal, I have to think of him. But yeah, for me, I know it's only a tongue in cheek. I'd rather have hair that I can cut off than have none that won't go.
I mean, I'm nearly bald anyway, so I think it's an easy pick for me. And I'm quite a boring guy. I'm not flashy. I don't wear nice stuff. I don't really, get into my fashion or my swag. But I couldn't pull off the Hannibal hair. I couldn't do it. And also, that seems like a right pain to maintain. So I'm going to go for the bald. And good luck to you with your Hannibal hair.
That's the 6 questions that we've picked, and there's a range of topics that we've covered there. And I hope you enjoyed the discussion. And let us know what you think about some of the responses that we've given, because it's okay if you've got a different opinion. Absolutely fine, and put them in the comments below and let us know what your thoughts are. Also, as well, just to remind you that we have got other questions that have been sent through to us or we've received that we'll look at those and possibly do another podcast to answer some more of those. So thank you very much for everybody who responded and provided us with a question. As always, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, then you can go along to our X page and our Instagram page, and you'll see the handles appearing on the screen right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos all about Birmingham City. And myself and Matt will see you on the next video.